Alright, here we are back in another Stormgate cast. I'm Algorithmore, and this cast is going to be starring Nobody, aka Dutchy, in the Blue Infernal, and his opponent in today's cast is going to be Sh7tle in the Red Vanguard. So we've got an Infernal versus Vanguard, and right off the bat here, it looks like Sh7tle's puppy dog is going to be chomping at this Hexen's toes. She actually grabs the healing flower so that she can, well, keep as much of her health as possible while she's getting this scout off. And, oh, the dog, I thought for a second, may have left her alone, but no, continues back. And yeah, continues to be a little annoying for her, but she is getting into the base, and she's able to scout. And I think the main thing she's looking for here is there a barracks here, or was there going to be a fast command post? And then she heads back home, and you see she's just chilling out on the edge of the shroud there, so she can at least regen her shroud skin, which is her white health, which her blue health is not going to regen unless she captures, or Dutchy captures, a health camp. The puppy dog's getting in here, being a bit annoying. We see Dutchy pulling the Hexen back into the imp line. That's to give him a little bit of a protective place for her so that if the dog tries to, finish her off, the imps can turn and attack. But instead the dog's going out to, looks like, just scout the health camp to see the timing of the creeping. And we do see a brute heading out there, and the Hexen, again, almost fully charged on her white health, but pretty low nonetheless. And if the dog can get on top of her, might be able to kill her. And I was like, is that another dog? No, we have a Lancer coming across, actually, and a second dog. So there's two dogs and a Lancer here. And Dutchy has been hesitant at first. He waited for his second brute, and that's actually going to be a good idea. But the dogs tried to jump right on top of the Lancer or on top of the Hexen, and indeed they do. The Lancer, if the Lancer gets a swipe off or two, that Hexen's probably gone. All those units get bonus damage against the Hexen, and indeed the Hexen is assassinated on the doorstep, left to soak into the shroud. And, well, she did channel out a single skull before she died, but that skull did not get to impact on anything, and it looks like Sh7tle is now using that slight advantage, map advantage at least, or map control, to start jacking these creeps on Dutchy's side of the map. And then healing up in those healing juices. The Lancer doing most of the tanking there, so the Lancer's pretty low. We'll take the Lancer a little while to heal up. And yeah, I'm not sure if Sh7tle's gonna stay there the whole time. And Dutchy has, it looks like, decided to be a little bit more defensive. Now, we're not on a greater shrine yet. That's not upgrading at the natural either. We have a conclave on the way. We have brute tech so far. We have some fiends heading out. These look like they're scout fiends. We'll see what they get to see. Meanwhile, Sh7tle adding more dogs. Just that single Lancer. I think the Lancer's there for tanking like we saw already. And these fiends do get in there, and they're able to get on top of this supply. Oh no, it's a sentry post. I thought it might have been a habitat. And it's done now. We don't see the Lancer jumping in, but can do so if needed. And that looks like that's just a scout fiend now, checking out to see timing on the expo. And meanwhile, Sh7tle has cleared out this vision camp as well. This other fiend, I think, maybe looking for the army. Oh no. Also going to be a scout fiend checking for timing on this base. Okay, so Dutchy at least is placing fiends around the map to try and get vision. This one is unfortunately going to get taken out, granting veterancy to one of those dogs. That's kind of annoying. And now the Lancers, this is a nice creeping force. It should cut through these slimes no problem. And after having stolen the creeps on the other side of the map, Sh7tle is in a good position and can kind of very conveniently just take the creeps on his side of the map. We should see here. Yeah, he has not yet taken one of the speed camps, so I wonder what there is going to be timing on that, although heading out to the vision camp, it looks like. And we've got a couple weavers added. This is definitely a more defensive play from Dutchy. He has chopped down the trees in the back and made a play for a third, though, so a fast third. And we do have a greater shrine already finished. No upgrade buildings, it looks like. What's this? An Hellforge. Okay, so here we go. We're going for maybe brute upgrades or at least vault tech upgrades. And Shu7tle's cleared out this fishing camp and is now moving out. It's a bunch of dogs and lancers. The lancers can be pretty brutal. Dogs are also good against light. We see now some weavers where did they lash down dogs? They seem to be just standing there. That's strange. I wonder if they're bugging out a little bit. Didn't look like they were using their auto attack. And those dogs are speedy, so they did get away, but they're still starting to fight. And it looks like Shu7tle's trying to make something happen here, and I don't think that's very well advised. The lancers are now getting lashed in, and they're going to get focused down by the weavers. And well, one lancer and the hedgehog that's been newly added escapes. So that was sort of an ill-advised attack. I don't think Dutchy lost anything. Well, he did lose a farm. I think most of that is dogs and lancers. And now we have finally this speed camp being creeped. Sometimes the speed camp is the first thing to be creeped. And it finally adding some speed boost to these units. And it looks like Shu7tle has kind of quickly added a couple more lancers. This fiend in here being a bit annoying and at least scouting this base. Cleaned up quite easily. And Dutchy's army, still weavers and brutes, still the same ones we sort of saw earlier. Is that a wraithstone now, or is that just a cool looking shroudstone? And this speed cap's going to be taken down now. Hedgehogs and lancers moving out. The hedgehogs can kite. I guess the lancers, if they got their kinetic redirector, and again they do, they would be a little bit easy to engage. But it's the weavers that are easy to disengage, sorry. But the weavers with their lash and stun ability makes that a little bit more dangerous. And now camping out in the speed camp is just advantageous, not only to just protect it, as we saw maybe those units were coming to try and snag it, but then you're just sort of permanently under the effect of that speed boost, and if you need to, you can, you know, rush out and defend or attack. It looks like a little sensor drone got sent up here to see if there's a fourth base, although the fourth base is going down here. And the third base for Shu7tle is also up, it looks like, partially mining here. Almost, you know, five workers on Therium is sort of a standard number. You can go up to maybe 7 or 8 is also fairly standard. Of course, you can put as many as you have patches there. But you don't often want to dedicate that many workers to mining Therium unless, you know, you've got a really strong eco going and you're Therium starved. That's chicken there, the little chicken pet. It looks like we have Vulcans being added. So this is an interesting mix. We have a few Exos in there too. And it doesn't look like they have their quick draw hustle. Largely a Lancer army. And we get a lash on a Hedgehog and the Hedgehog goes down. Shu7tle's army chooses to retreat. And we see more effigies going down here to just continue sort of the shroud spread out, which is beneficial. Here come those Vulcans, beneficial for those weavers, I was going to say, just to finish that thought. But 2 weavers pop out immediately, one with a lash, and they focus fire down one, even though there was a stun. I believe that was from a jump jet. And did the other, yeah, the other Vulcan got picked up by the evac. A few more workers going down. And then landing inside the imp line, trying to mow down those workers. Now we see shadow flyers coming in, taking out the evac. So now it's just a lone Vulcan who's trying to mow down on this. Well, it was the shrine at first, but repositioning to try and take out the farm, but we are having a battle at the front. That's why there's no army coming to take out the Vulcan. A lot of Megs being added here, and actually Dutchy's choosing to chase. That Vulcan's still just hanging out. It's going to take a while, but mowing down that shrine. A single Magmadon here stomping in retreat, which is kind of a good move, and actually manages to get away. And if that one Magmadon's really low, if he chomps down, he can eat one of those fiends, get back that white health. And now Sh7tle is trying to rotate around the back and get some pressure here now. The Shroud so for a moment seemed like it was going to deter Sh7tle, but Sh7tle instead moves in, focuses it down, takes out the farm, and we see the Magmadons leading the charge. And one Lancer getting lashed. So a nice little hit and run, but only damaging the static D. Alright, Sh7tle's going to move around here and take out the Vision. Of course, that army movement was spotted by Dutchy the whole time. Now the Vision, alright. And what did we see get picked up there? Okay, mostly Exos and Lancers. So we're going to have another drop play coming in. Just as imps are being transferred to this base, we'll see if the drop hits those imps. Actually, because they're long distance mining, this is actually a little bit in Dutchy's advantage. The units unload, take out the static D, and then we have a teleportation of all the Weavers coming back in. Wow, automatic flash on 5 units. That looked like an autocast to me. And they're trying to focus fire down some of these Weavers. They're just so tanky. And on top of that, the Weavers do regenerate a lot of white health every second when on Shroud. Some Hellboard joining, taking out the rest of those units. A few Weavers went down, but all those units went down. For some reason, that Evac's being left at very low health. But that allowed for a push to come out here. We see a lot of dead units there. I wonder if those are imps. We missed a little bit of that battle. The Weavers have to come back and deal with this. A few Weavers are going down, but a lot of Hellborns. Hellborns are really good mid to late game units, especially with the upgrades. Doesn't look like we have those upgrades yet. The Evac's still just chilled there. And okay, a little bit of a wall of static D started going up. This defends this sort of risky 4th base here, but also allows for forward positioning of the army. But the drop play... Ooh! Okay, so one Shadow Flyer gone to take out that drop. We see another drop on the way, but are those Shadow Flyers going to be able to get it? Oh, no, no, no. Now there is a tower up now, and they are unloading all Lancers, it looks like. This time I will take a look here. Ooh, I don't know if attacking into this is great. There is an Atlas there. The Shadow Flyers have not been sent to take this out, so this harass might be going unnoticed because of the battle going on here. So Atlas is on the high ground. It looks like they're just sieging down on the, well, on the units whenever they can, but when there's no units in range, they can also hit this shrine. Now it looks like the rest of the army is trying to come and engage here. A lot of brutes being added. The Weavers are trying to stay back. They want to come to melee range, but also you don't want them to just move in and be sort of focused down, as we see one Weaver do. Instead, you want those Hellborns just raining down that fire from the back. Here we go, a bunch of brutes splitting. I don't think that was necessarily the right choice. We see a Nightfall infestation going down, but I think maybe it was dispelled. think it's System Shock maybe that does it. I'm not sure, but I think the medtechs have a dispel ability to dispel the infest. We now see the upgrades, the Molten Touch on the Hellborn, so we see the extra fire damage on these units. My apologies for the scroll there. And now they're pushing in. One of those Shroud Stones go down. It's just Hellborns for Dutchy. And then, oh, I didn't notice, but the Atlases on the high ground had taken out the shrine. And alright, so this is, you know, Sh7tle's actually been putting on a nice little siege and contain here, denying this base. And it, you know, these Hellborn are very useful, but so far they really need some kind of front line to help them, help make sure they can stay alive. Some of these imps now going down. Again, the Atlas is on the high ground, being very dangerous. Maybe if there were a few flying units, Sprigs or Shadow Flyers. What do we see here? Oh, another Hellborn. We do have Shadow Flyers up here on patrol trying to deny another drop. But right now, being on the high ground makes it hard for the low ground to see. Unless there was maybe a spotter of some kind. What do we see here? Another drop. So maybe these Shadow Flyers on the left are going to pay off here. Oh, interesting. Unloading. There's two medvacs too, or sorry, medtechs. So an evac and a medtech. But for the moment, just chilling. So it looked like they were trying to push in over here, while that drop is just chilling. And now we have a Fiend Run Boy trying to come in the back, trying to get on top of the Atlases. I feel like that's just not as effective as, say, a Ling Run By might be in StarCraft. And the Hellborn are forced to retreat back. But every time they fire in unison like that, they drop so much damage down on a single target, as well as a lot of splash damage. And now they're moving forward. Actually, they do not get their shot off. That's the one drawback. But now we have Magmadons right on top of all those units. One of them's really low and gets taken out. The other one gets focus fired down, but that gives the Hellborns time to take out the Atlases. And now this small little, these are just retreating medtechs. There's almost nothing left of that sieging army, although that was a long siege that was put on there, denying this fourth base. Now there was a fourth base added up here, and it was kept alive through mostly static D there. Now it looks like we lost Shadow Flyers, so I think that evac got taken out, as well as probably the small strike force that was there. I did not see that as this army was being wiped out. New army has been put together. It's a small strike force. Looks like it's heading up to that base, trying to maybe take it out. Meanwhile, is this a long distance mine? A really ultra long distance mine? I think it really need to put down a base there. And pardon me, we do see this strike force has arrived on their location. Some of them are just focusing on these creeps. That does not seem like what you want to be wasting that DPS on. You know, there is a little bit of income there. Ooh, we see, I think that might be the System Shock as well. I don't know which one is which. Actually, let's see. Maybe it'll tell me. Yes, that was the System Shock that speeds up the units and gives them those little lightning legs so they can rush around quickly. So that's a skill of the medtech. Atlas again helping to zone the units away, although this is looking like a pretty dangerous tier 2 army with tier 3 upgrades. Ooh, these Magmadons getting right on top of the bile and getting some clean stomps on, taking out almost all that bile, getting on top of the tank and taking it out as well. Meanwhile, there's a little strike force over here, but Flame on Imps, perfect timing as we zip over here to see the Flame on Imps engage as well. And wow, it looks like Dutchy is now pushing this army back, actually deciding after using the trample to move back. And look at that System Shock again to get in the kite. So really nice micro from Sh7tle. Very good, although taking a ton of hits. Luckily there's medtechs here, might be able to heal up those very weak exos. That is if they can avoid this army that looks like it's pushing out from Dutchy. A couple strikes from Hellborn from the high ground with their crazy range, and we see one Exo going down with 2 that damage over time as they get lit on fire by those Molten Touch fireballs. Oh, this is dangerous. So many weak Exos. We see a lot of them going down, as well as a Nightfall infestation. Magmadon's coming from the back to stomp on top of everything, and this is going to be an end of all that army. A few of those infested units turning into fiends, and looks like that's a GG out of Sh7tle and an end of this game. Thanks for watching.